Well, last night Elon Musk had a historic conversation with Donald Trump, and Musk now estimates it got possibly a billion views combined off of everything, which wouldn't surprise me at all. It was very important, good for Trump to try and turn, his little issues around in terms of Kamala Harris getting all of this hype, even though the internal numbers say something different than the polls. We now know that. We do have a situation where, and I'm just going to give my big takeaway on this as I was watching it. I couldn't help but observe the idea that the Democrats continuously talk about saving democracy, and obviously that's hilarious for a number of reasons. Number one, their candidate was installed via blackmailing the president. But number two, isn't part of democracy knowing the candidates and understanding who you're going to vote for? Kamala Harris continues to refuse to do basically any and all interviews, and it is such a scam because we all know that she's waiting until after the DNC to where she gets her massive funding apparatus. This woman did not do a single debate. She's been installed. She should be trying to go everywhere to pitch to the American people her side. She doesn't, though. She lets the mainstream media do it while she doesn't say a single word. It's just so sad. But Elon Musk, Donald Trump with an unbelievable understanding. You know what? I loved the point that Trump made about nuclear war in comparison to global warming, and Trump is right, they changed it to climate change. And technically, the climate is always changing, but global warming would not be the right term. It is climate change. But Trump comes out and says they constantly talk about, and this is what they do, the number one biggest threat to the world is climate change. That's what they say. Meanwhile, you've got even liberal experts admitting that the big glacier, the ice sheet in Greenland, even on the worst case scenario, it's still going to be fully compact by the year 2050. It's going to melt like an inch. It's crazy. That's the most liberal predictions. And then obviously the sea level doesn't go anywhere. We've seen, the year 1894 versus 2011. I'm sure you guys have seen comparisons. It's stagnant. It doesn't move. Even with the glacier ice supposedly from the North Pole melting, it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm not saying climate change doesn't exist. It does. And they were talking about doing solar energy. I mean, the most obvious thing ever is to build a massive solar panel farm in Yuma, Arizona. I'm not even kidding you. Yuma, Arizona gets the most sun hours out of any city in the world. Build the world's biggest solar panel farm in Arizona. But that's another story for another day. The point is, Trump is right when he says, they say the number one biggest threat is global warming. That's not even going to, even in the worst case scenario, is not going to kill us for another, hundreds and hundreds of years. Meanwhile, you've got nuclear bombs that were our creation that could destroy us with a single one being launched, and you get the horrible domino effect. And that is the one thing that could severely, obviously, penetrate the United States with where we are, surrounded by oceans in an amazing spot. What would be the first thing that a major adversary would do? They would send a nuclear bomb. And Trump's 100% right. What happened right now with this administration, and it said that people don't understand the dynamic of an actual World War III scenario because it's almost like the boy who cried wolf. Well, we keep saying it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, well, it's a hard thing to wrap your head around. It's not going to happen until it does. And then when it does, we're all screwed. So Trump is saying when you've got Russia and China closer together, and the reason that's the case is because the United States has been extremely hard on Russia. Obviously, they shouldn't have invaded. We agree with that. Trump agrees with it. But Trump had a good relationship with Russia. Libs got jealous of it, so they said that he's a Russian agent. And Trump had huge peace with North Korea and everything, and now you've got exactly what Trump said. You've got Russia. You've got Iran. How about the United States blaming Iran for everything now in the Middle East? You've got Russia, Iran, the Middle Eastern country. You've got China, and you've got North Korea. That's four major, potential enemies to NATO. Maybe some type of Axis alliance forming there. That's a huge issue. But guys, let's take a look at the pathetic statement that Kamala Harris did release. She put out two statements. The first one I thought she deleted. It was an email, apparently. Somebody told me. This was the one on Twitter. Our statement on whatever that was. Well, no. We understand why they would say that. They're not used to presidential candidates doing interviews, considering Kamala Harris runs scared from basically every interview she gets, and now is running scared from debates after calling Trump out by saying that Trump wouldn't agree to doing one debate. Trump says, I'll do you one better. We'll do 3 debates. And she runs scared like a little communist girl. And of course, this is how pathetic it is. She's the one that has to prove herself. She should be begging to have 3 debates with Donald Trump to try and prove herself to the American people, but she doesn't do it. She lets the mainstream media and the entire machine work for her. So we do have this statement, Donald Trump's extremism and dangerous Project 2025 agenda. So they're still using the Project 2025. Trump's complete. I mean, Project 2025 almost dissolved because Trump said no. It's like people are leaving Project 2025. That's how bad it's gotten because Trump has said, I'm not part of it at all. He said it 10 times. They're still using it. This shows you how badly they're grasping at straws. His Project 2025 is a feature, not a glitch, of his campaign, which was on full display for those unlucky enough to listen. Only 1 billion people listened, don't worry. No. Don't worry. It was only 1 billion people. I'm sure Kamala can get more at her next rally. Maybe via AI she might be able to. I don't know. We'll have to see. During whatever that was on X.com, Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class, and it's hilarious. They talk about getting campaign donations, considering they got a bunch of basically fake money from Sam Bankman-Fried in 2022 when he was the second highest liberal donor, and they bragged and had victory laps about performing better in the 2022 midterms. Biden had way more money than Trump in 2020. Hillary had even more money than Biden in 2016. So they want to talk about millionaires donating. Yeah, they get foreign money, and then they through Act Blue. This has been exposed by Project Veritas. They launder it, and it's like 400 donations of $5 by an old lady. And James O'Keefe goes to their house, and the lady starts breaking down, crying. She's like, I never made 400 donations of $5. This is so sad. That's what they do, and they want to go at Trump and Elon Musk. And even Elon Musk is sitting there admitting, saying, he supported Biden. I think he endorsed Biden, I read somewhere, back in 2020. And he was saying, guys, I am not this right-wing dude at all. Even when I was a multi-billionaire and the whole idea about paying more taxes, he didn't care. He was more liberal. Now he realizes how crazy they've gotten, and so he's become more conservative. And of course, they've lashed out about it. Now they hate Elon Musk. You can listen to liberals internally on social media. They've admitted, they say, we hate free speech on the internet. Damn Elon Musk, why did he give us free speech? We're trying to limit it from conservatives. That's why we were banning conservatives and then saying it's a private company. So they're like, yes, we hate free speech. We're so jealous of the UK. We want to put 19-year-old white kids in jail for emojis. We can't do it because of Elon Musk. He is the ultimate enemy for the Democrats, and Musk now, he's going to be helping Trump, not because Musk is this crazy conservative. Again, in 2020, he was not a conservative. He did not support Trump, and he's trying to tell people that. But obviously, they're trying to swing it here. Our statement on whatever that was. Yeah, you're right. There was no AI crowd render to do it. No. I understand why you're confused. No. I get it. You're confused. There's probably within the Kamala campaign, there's stuff going on. They haven't done many rallies in the past 4 days. I think it's because Tim Walz is in Iraq. Oh, wait, he never went. I'm sorry. He never went. I'm sorry. We've also got this. So this, I think, was sent out via email. Childish oh, this is even worse. Look at this. Childish pro-censorship coping from the Harris campaign. And supposedly this was the email. Right now, Elon Musk is interviewing Trump on Twitter. We're not calling it X. So it is funny how their email is like, we're not calling it X. Did you understand how childish and dumb that is? That makes you sound like a 5-year-old. Like, seriously, we're still doing this. And again, I sometimes make the mistake. I call it Twitter. Twitter was a great name, no doubt about it. But Musk paid, a bunch of money to be able to change the name. It is what it is. He wants it under his own umbrella, his company. But I will agree, Twitter was a great name. But I'm not going to sit there and act like a 3-year-old and say I'm not calling it X. That's just because you don't like Musk. But look at this. They call it X here. And then, they don't call it X. It's just weird how they contradict themselves in an email versus a tweet. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help to re-elect Trump. Wait, what about Mark Zuckerberg giving $400 million to the Democrats in 2020? Oh, that was okay. What about Sam Bankman-Fried giving fake money in 2022 to the Democrats? George Soros funding all of the riots and causing significant chaos in the United States and so much pain to citizens and being the biggest Democratic donor. No, that's okay. You're right. That's okay. Elon Musk is an innovator. He's creating all of the, the rockets and SpaceX and the tunnels now, which is a huge thing. And the tunnels are so important to limit traffic problems. Musk is just this. He's innovating basically everything. I mean, you talk about AI, the cars, with the electric car. I mean, it is everything. Space. I mean, my God, Musk is just, he's extremely impressive. I know people were like, well, Musk, why was he saying, he wasn't talking as fluently. That's just how Elon talks, guys. You got to understand that. If you listen to him long enough, you'll understand. You'll get used to it. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help re-elect Trump. He is using his purchased platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. And folks, Musk exposed Kamala Harris and her campaign when he said, I offered Kamala the exact same thing and she declined. So the idea that he's only offering this to Trump for an exclusive interview that gets 1 billion views, no, he offered it to both. This is Joe Rogan 2.0. Remember last year during the summer, Joe Rogan offered to moderate a debate between Trump, not last year, in 2020, Rogan offered to moderate the debate between Biden and Trump. Trump agreed to it, Biden didn't. This is the same type of thing. Elon Musk, it's pulling teeth. These people, they will not show themselves. They're running scared, and they have to put out statements like this, and it's gimmick fake statements to where, oh, he offers Trump a platform. Well, yeah, and he offered you a platform, and you were too scared to accept it. Otherwise, let us remind you why this is a big deal. The richest person in the world likes Trump, and yeah, he's the biggest innovator. It's not surprising that, he's siding with people that believe in rights and things like that, so it makes sense. Kamala Harris reportedly declined same offer to join Elon Musk on Twitter X Space, and there it is, and Elon, I think, tweeted out and said, I would love to have Kamala Harris on, and she, of course, she hasn't responded. She's not going to do it. Trump, quote, if you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let China and Russia align. And unfortunately, with the hostile relationship and the anti-Russia approach that this administration, the Democrats, have taken, it is forcing Russia and China to become closer. You've got Russia invading. You've got China not disavowing it. And so now they're starting to realize with how big the NATO situation is and just how horrible the European Union is, we're starting to realize we need to expose the European Union. I'm getting sick and tired of dealing with them. They come out and they say they want to censor Trump. Elon Musk needs to censor him. And Elon Musk comes out swinging during the interview and says, fuck NATO. This is ridiculous. We're subsidizing all these countries. It's a badass thing. And they were about to introduce a NATO tax. They want to save that. But no, we're going to start taxing these countries for us to be, and the gloves are off at this point with these European countries. I'm sick and tired of hearing about them. They have done so much. Our way of life is not like theirs. They believe in censorship, and I know some of them like France are switching more to the right. That's great. I mean, look at what's happening in the UK. That leader should be overthrown. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's absurd. But there's an issue, and now there's talks, and it's like, look, why are we in NATO and this is what Musk said, it's just to defend Europe at this point. And they didn't mention this, but again, people don't know this. NATO was not created for this function. It was to defend against the USSR when they had those Eastern, European countries, and they were encroaching near, obviously at that point, Germany wasn't even a thing. It was East Germany, West Germany, but it was puppet governments. And then you had the UK, and there was no defense there for them. So it's understandable. In Italy, obviously part of the Axis, they were trying to rebuild themselves, so having NATO was important. It wasn't even all of Europe. It was almost like 2/5 of Europe that was really NATO back in 1950, 1951, and the United States. But now it's expanded so much, and of course the European countries, they want the huge benefit of having, it's like the United States is the number one bully, and they've got the bully on their side, so they like it. And so there's a huge problem. And Elon Musk is like, look at what NATO is, because we don't need to defend ourselves. We've got the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the number one military in the world times 10. We don't need to defend ourselves. Europe needs to be defended. And so NATO has become a defense pact for Europe. And why are we paying the most times 20, even if we have the number one military? And countries can't even give 2% of their GDP. So Musk came out swinging, and he really is just against the European Union, and it's good to see. Musk coming out saying 1 billion views. I'm not sure if that's right, but it was a ton. It was an absolute ton. We've also got more influencers coming out and exposing Kamala Harris for offering to pay for social media support. So now she's trying to, oh, this is actually interesting. She's trying to be more coy and secretive about it. She's forcing the influencers to sign an NDA prior to getting paid. I received an email for a paid promotion for me to make a video posted to TikTok about the Democratic side. It is all completely fake. And so this influencer comes out, this girl, and totally exposes it. Again, remember Kai Cenat coming out and basically saying, you know, the Secret Service is like, they're texting me like 100 times a day. This is really sad. And he blew up on them because they're so desperate. Everything is paid for. Why do we hear day after day after day after day after day, all these influencers come out and say, you know, they're offering money, but you never hear that about Trump. Trump's all normal. Trump's all totally organic. They are the ones that they have to offer money to kids because kids don't really care about being Democrat. Meanwhile, you've got a lot of us, you know, younger people, we're all conservative. We don't need money from people to do this. And so that's the huge difference between the parties, and that's how desperate they are. And again, it's like, why would Kamala Harris have a base? What does she do to deserve to have something like that when she was one of the most unlikable VPs in history? And you've got people, mainstream people like Stephen Colbert coming out and saying in March that they possibly will replace Kamala Harris because of how historically unlikable she is and that she was dragging down the ticket for Biden. Yes, originally they were talking about replacing the VP, not Biden. Remember, there was this huge thing where they're like, Biden's fine, he's going to do well. There were Democrats that were saying Biden was like the greatest president of the last 30 years. And that's the same guy that, because of how historically bad and just old and cognitively declined he was, they had to forcibly remove via saying, we're going to 25th Amendment you. I mean, this is next level how brainwashed these people are. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Links to that's always in the description.